So sure enough, the storm comes in. We're on the summit. It's dark. The storm's intensifying. And we decide we maybe should just get the heck out of there.
We couldn't see anything. It was zero visibility, and we noticed we had to go down pretty quick to avoid getting too cold and getting too wet.
We were in this cloud, and it was totally light now, but we were right in this cloud. We had no visibility, and we had several hundred meters of wet slab below us, and we just couldn't really do it. We couldn't just rappel into the mist, not being able to see where we're going.
I think he had kind of an intuition in this moment, because when we descended, he was really in a bad shape. He was shivering all night, and he was really in a not very good situation anymore. I was quite worried about him.
It was a pretty scary feeling to not be able to control the shakes and the shivers, and just being wet and damp, and it's snowing out, and you're basically cornered. Like, we were cornered. We couldn't go anywhere. We just had to sit it out. It was pretty miserable.
For the break of this new year, strange wonders from the kingdom disappear.
Many parts of Canada are pretty wild and hard to get wild scenery, but Baffin Island was topping anything I've ever seen before. This was really special, and yeah, the colors are so intense. It never gets dark, and the sky is blue, the glaciers are blue, and the faces are gray, and green grass, and lots of flowers, and lots of water. I knew that the creek crossings are kind of difficult, but that the water was that high, I have never imagined. And there was definitely some moments when I was so scared to lose the balance on my feet, but I got a great help with my friends. We were helping each other and finally crossed the creeks without swimming in the cold water.
Climbing in a remote area, such as, say, Mount Asgard area of Baffin Island, it's definitely, the intensity of the experience is increased. I mean, there's, you're more committed. Possibilities of being rescued if everything goes horribly wrong are really low.
But I remember pretty well the first moment when we turned around from Summit Lake and we've seen Mount Asgard the first time in real, not just on a picture. I was quite impressed how massive, how big this mountain is. Also, I got a little nervous because it showed us the darkest face of the mountain. I think it just makes sense to just go at the first part from the bottom to see how featured this couple of 100 meters is, or you think it's
What, on
too much
that
effort?
west face? there were some additional hazards that we dealt with on Asgard, although they were a little bit random. The most memorable ones definitely came out of nowhere.
The sun hits the mountain just a few hours in the late afternoon, but that was just enough to get the situation really, really dangerous.
And it landed on the slab right, I think, maybe between the belay and where I was, and blew up, and it was a really close call. I think it was one of the closest encounters with rockfall I've ever experienced.
So we bivouacked on a pretty well-heighted bivouac. So we were waiting there. We didn't even sleep. It was just waiting to get the sun out of the face. And as soon as this was happening, we kept going climbing. So after 2 days, we topped out. We were really happy to did not get hurt by the really terrible rockfall sometimes. When you do something you're passionate about, you really want to do it, and you dream for a long time being there, you don't think about risk and what could be happen too much. And of course there is friends you lost one day, and sometimes you think about them, but it doesn't change anything in what you're doing. And that's how I deal with friends who passed away. But when John turned into that really sad situation that his father died during our descent, which was, I think, the most dangerous part of the whole climb. You think, how can that be happen?
When that storm came on really strong, that was like about the time when he started going downhill fast and had to get in the ambulance and go to the hospital. So it was like that whole storm that was a real parallel to what we went through to what he went through. There was a real parallel there. Us getting our backs against the wall and him getting his back against the wall. Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Just kind of, I don't know what to think.
This is it?
I think so.
My body's falling apart.
Burley.
Barely. Done.
Done.